Welcome, brave souls, to another night of chilling tales. As the storm rages outside, let the thunder and rain set the perfect backdrop for the horrors you're about to hear. Tonight, I present to you 3 spooky true stories from student life that will keep you on the edge of your seat. So, grab a blanket, turn off the lights, and prepare for a journey into the unknown. Story 1. The Haunted Dorm Room. In a prestigious university nestled in the hills of New England, there was an old dormitory building with a dark secret. Room 214 had a reputation for being haunted, with stories of strange occurrences dating back decades. Freshman Sarah had heard the rumors, but dismissed them as mere legends until she moved into that very room. From the first night, Sarah felt uneasy. The room was cold, no matter how high she turned up the heat. Her belongings would move on their own, and she often heard faint whispers when she was alone. Her roommate, Emily, laughed it off, attributing it to the building's age. One evening, Sarah returned from the library to find Emily sitting on her bed, staring blankly at the wall. When Sarah called her name, Emily snapped out of her trance, but her eyes were filled with terror. She confessed that she had seen a figure in the mirror, an old woman with hollow eyes, standing right behind her. Determined to get to the bottom of it, the girls conducted research on the dorm's history. They discovered that room 214 had once been occupied by a student named Margaret in the 1920s. Margaret had been a recluse, often mocked by her peers. One stormy night, she was found dead in her room, an apparent suicide. Since then, residents of room 214 reported similar eerie experiences. One night, Sarah woke up to the sound of weeping. She saw a shadowy figure at the foot of her bed, sobbing softly. As she reached out, the figure vanished, leaving behind a cold chill. Emily suggested they hold a seance to communicate with Margaret's spirit, hoping to offer her peace. With candles flickering and hands clasped, they called out to Margaret. The temperature in the room plummeted, and the whispers grew louder. Suddenly, the candles extinguished, and a forceful wind blew through the room. They heard a voice, faint but clear, saying, "Help me." The next morning, they found a note under Sarah's pillow. It was a page from Margaret's diary, detailing her loneliness and despair. Moved by her story, they decided to hold a memorial in her honor, placing flowers and a letter at her grave. From that day on, the disturbances ceased. The room felt warmer, and the sense of dread lifted. Sarah and Emily shared their experience, warning others about room 214. Though the dormitory eventually closed, the legend of Margaret's haunted room lived on, a spooky reminder of the past. Story 2. The Ghost in the Library. At a historic university in the Midwest, the old library was a place of quiet study and academic pursuit. However, it also held a dark reputation for being haunted. Students often spoke of a ghostly figure seen roaming the stacks late at night. Sophomore Jack, a skeptic, decided to investigate during a late-night study session. As the clock struck midnight, Jack found himself alone in the dimly lit library. The silence was unsettling, broken only by the occasional creak of the old building. Determined to debunk the ghost stories, he ventured deeper into the stacks, where the air grew colder. He noticed a shadow moving among the shelves. Dismissing it as a trick of the light, he continued his study. But then he heard footsteps, slow and deliberate, approaching him. Jack turned to see a translucent figure, a young woman in an old-fashioned dress, her eyes filled with sorrow. Frozen in place, Jack watched as the ghostly woman walked through the rows of books, stopping occasionally to touch a spine as if searching for something. Gathering his courage, he followed her, calling out to ask who she was and what she wanted. The ghost turned to him, her face a mask of anguish, and whispered, "Find the book." Jack was left in stunned silence as the apparition vanished. Determined to solve the mystery, he scoured the library's archives. He learned about a tragic fire that had occurred in the library in the early 1900s. Among the victims was a student named Eleanor, who had been trapped while searching for a rare book. Jack searched for the book Eleanor had been looking for, a journal of alchemical recipes believed to be cursed. After days of searching, he found it hidden in the rare books section. The journal's cover was charred, and it emitted an unsettling energy. Believing that returning the book might bring Eleanor peace, Jack placed it on a table and waited. As the clock struck midnight, the ghostly figure appeared again. She approached the book, her face softening with relief. She turned to Jack, mouthed a silent, "Thank you," and slowly faded away. The library felt lighter, the air warmer. Word of Jack's encounter spread, and the story of Eleanor's ghost became part of the university's lore. Jack, once a skeptic, was forever changed by his experience, a spooky tale he would tell for years to come. Story 3. The Roommate's Secret. At a bustling urban university, sophomore Jessica was excited to move into her new apartment. She was paired with a quiet girl named Lily, who kept to herself and had peculiar habits. Lily rarely left her room and often whispered to herself late at night. Jessica, trying to be friendly, found Lily's behavior increasingly unsettling. One stormy night, Jessica was awakened by strange noises coming from Lily's room. It sounded like chanting, mixed with sobbing. Concerned, she knocked on Lily's door, but there was no response. The door creaked open, and Jessica saw Lily sitting in the middle of a circle of candles, her eyes closed, chanting in an unknown language. Jessica gasped, and Lily's eyes snapped open, filled with an intense, otherworldly glow. Lily abruptly extinguished the candles and muttered something under her breath. The air grew thick with tension, and Jessica felt a cold shiver run down her spine. The next day, Lily acted as if nothing had happened, but Jessica couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. She began to notice more strange occurrences, objects moving on their own, eerie whispers in the hallway, and shadows flickering at the edge of her vision. Determined to uncover the truth, Jessica did some research and discovered that their apartment building had a dark history. It was once the site of a series of occult rituals performed by a secret society of students. Rumors of summoning spirits and dark entities abounded, with some claiming that the building was cursed. Jessica confronted Lily, who finally revealed her secret. She had been trying to contact her twin sister, who had died in a tragic accident the year before. Lily believed that her sister's spirit was trapped and needed her help to move on. The rituals were her desperate attempt to communicate with her lost sibling. Jessica, feeling a mix of fear and sympathy, agreed to help Lily. Together, they performed a final ritual, hoping to set her sister's spirit free. As they chanted, the room grew cold, and a ghostly figure appeared, a young woman, identical to Lily, but with a look of peace on her face. The spirit reached out to Lily, a silent farewell passing between them. The candles flickered and went out, and the room was filled with a comforting warmth. Lily's sister was finally at rest, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. From that night on, the apartment felt different, lighter, more welcoming. Lily became more sociable, and the eerie occurrences ceased. Jessica and Lily formed a bond over their shared experience, and the story of their haunted apartment became a spooky legend among their friends. And there you have it, 3 true horror stories to chill you to the bone on this stormy night. Remember, the next time you hear whispers in the dorms, see a shadowy figure in the library, or feel a cold chill in your apartment, think of these tales and the souls who linger in the shadows. Thank you for joining me. Stay safe, and until next time, sleep well, if you can.